Wow, that's tough to watch for Kone fans, his family and friends. This is "Oh Canada, oh baby," or more like "Oh De Zerbi, oh no." That footage from the Marseille documentary footage that they put out, it's very much Hard Knock style. It's obviously popular across the board in the sporting world these days, showed the real dynamic between manager and player. Many people took exception to the behavior of De Zerbi, saying that there's no room for that, for a player or for a manager to speak to a player like that. I mean, things have changed in the sporting world a lot over recent years, and the standard has obviously been shifted. As a former player, Jordan, how do you react to a clip like that, where a young, vulnerable player is being spoken to like that in a very fiery moment?
Yeah, there's a few things that stick out to me. The first thing that sticks out is I can understand when a manager has expressed so many things to a player over and over to do something over the top. Maybe this is that situation. For example, if he spoke to Kone a dozen times about taking too many touches, or he's trying to really drill in a point, maybe that's what you're seeing. So because we don't really know that, it's tough to be like, is he overacting? Is he doing too much? Do I like the call your agent bit? I think he's having a temper and he's kind of just taking it out on Kone a little bit. For me, I don't love that. But again, I know coaches that do the most to make a point. And I'll just bring up something personally. I've had a coach one time, I turned on a block shot. This is my early 20s. I'm trying to be a pro. Stood a yard away from me with a ball in their hand and did a volley. And said, don't turn. And it would just hit me on the chest. And a lot of players, you have the older players on the team, they would snicker. And that moment I understood he's trying to break me. He's trying to see if I'm gonna cry. He's trying to see if I'm gonna back down, but he's also trying to make a point. So I say all that to say is you don't know sometimes, KJ, maybe what a coach is really trying to do in that moment. Was he trying to see what Kone is made of? Is he trying to push him? Do I think he maybe went too far? I do. But again, I just don't know the full context of the situation to really have a full opinion on whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah, it's hard for us to judge, right? I don't know De Zerbi. I know Ismael really well. I don't know De Zerbi at all. I think De Zerbi would look back at that and hopefully show a bit of contrition and just say, I went too far.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing, I mean, I've sat and watched training sessions, been blessed to do that my entire career. It's one thing for you to send a guy off and say, I don't like what you're doing right now, go in the shower and think about it. But then he just baited him.
Yeah.
And he carried on going and then wanted it more, and then had Ismael turn around. So not a good look once you've done that. Yeah, I mean, Ismael just walked off at that point. But yeah, this area didn't like that. There was no need for that, right?
He went back in. By the way, I think that De Zerbi's a very good manager. Like, I love his style of play. But if he's trying to make a point, I would expect a manager to understand which players you can do that.
Yeah, great point.
Would do that with. And with Kone, I just don't think he's that guy.
I don't think he's trying to make a point at that point,
then what's he doing there?
That
because
relationship
this is a player.
Is over.
Yeah.
He's not trying to get it. The relationship.
So he's just trying to put the nail in it.
It's done.
That's it.
So.
Even if that was the case, even if he doesn't want him around anymore, this is a young 23-year-old with not a lot of track record of playing, you know, in terms of like high-pressured, big clubs that can actually cultivate his development. He's going on now, Sassuolo, his 5th club in 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't think that his agents have done him any favors by some of the clubs that he's actually gone to. And I think that players like that need to be protected. And if you're a manager like that in that moment, if you see that you're dealing with a vulnerable player, KJ, you need to take that into consideration. Not every player is Roy Keane out there that can actually like take those lumps and deliver them as well, right?
Yeah.
And Kone right now, and I've said this for years, he's a player that needs an arm around him. Yeah. More so than someone yelling him, belittling him, but especially in an atmosphere like that.
You'll find KJ Wheels as well that players nowadays don't feed off of that. Okay, you can't be coddled. I'll be the first one to say there needs to be a standard. There needs to be players and leaders in the locker room that kind of run your ship. But as a coach, what do you think De Zerbi, after, if he does that with Kone and Kone went to the showers, is coming back, how are they mending that relationship? You cannot go so far so quick at one player. You can go that far maybe once with the group, but that feels personal. And I just feel like at a point when you're trying to get the best out of a player, you can't come back from a situation like that.
What I thought when I saw it was, first of all, I thought about Ismael. I mean, for me, it's not about the clip anymore. It's over. It's in post-production. It's been produced, directed. They decided to put it out. The relationship has been severed. He's gone on and moved to a different club. But that will, in some minds, lead some to judge him as being something that he's not necessarily is.
Yeah.
Whether that be a troublemaker, somebody who would confront a manager of De Zerbi stature. So I think things happen for a reason, no? I think this is a good way of him saying, time for me to get my head down, play games every week, learn a bit more in playing regular football in a country where they can be more defensively disciplined, find a system that works for him. Where's his best position? Is it as a box-to-box 8? Is it as a double pivot? Does he sometimes get as a 10? You alluded to, I've got some numbers if I can just quickly share. Yeah. This guy, he's played 117 club games since his debut in 2022. He's played in the World Cup, Copa America, and the Gold Cup. He's played 117 club games. He started and finished just 25 90-minute games. That's 21%. He's played 31 caps. He started and finished just 8 times. That's 25%. Okay, he's played a total of 8,723 career minutes as a pro. That's the equivalent of about 97 matches. So for context, Alistair Johnston or Jonathan David, let's just use those example, they played that in 2 seasons. Yeah. And he's been around since 2022. So Ismael Kone is a wonderful talent. He needs to figure out and just play football and figure out where he's best served at under guidance of hopefully some continuity. You alluded to it. Watford changing managers 3 times in the season. He's already played under John Herman. He's already played under Mauro Biello. He's already played under Jesse Marsch, De Zerbi. Then he got moved to it again, and now another manager. So it's an enormous year for him, and it's not an enormous year for him to be in a shop window. So he can try and get another big move, by the way. It's an enormous year for him as a footballer to decide what is he going to be. Because many players at 23 have had the talent of him and faded away. Right. And there's been many players at 23 that have gone on. This is now the fork in the road for Ismael Kone as a footballer. What are you going to be? Because his ceiling, as I've said before, this is why it's so important in this country, is because we don't have many players in Canada we produce like that.
KG.
But his ceiling is so high, but he can speak more than I can. Talent can only get you so far. Yeah. He's a lovely lad. I've had the pleasure of many meetings with him. But it just needs to get to a point now where he determines what he is on and off the pitch so he can become
that's why he's going to be the
reliable.
most intriguing Canadian player to watch in the build-up to the World Cup, because he's such an X factor. And look, many people kind of hit out the club. Why would Marseille release this? I like that they did. A real moment, the transparency. There's so much contrived BS that's put out there that everything has gone over with a fine-tooth comb by clubs, and it's completely sanitized. That's real. And that sort of thing happens. Maybe not to that magnitude, but that happens. My question is, the knock-on effect here isn't necessarily about what's going to happen to Sassuolo. People will look at that and say, well, why isn't Jesse Marsch playing him? Mm-hmm. Like, what's going on here with the player that he is not building trust with the manager, the person that decides how much they're going to play? Yeah. And that's the missing link that either needs to be properly explained or needs to be justified by the player playing more, KJ. Yeah. That's where we're at right now.
That's fair. I just think that in a world where a lot of coaches just want complete compliance and program and midfielders who just follow things, he's an X factor. It's not him. And sometimes that is a test for a top coach. So he may not be playing because he may not be following them, and he may be a bit of a maverick, and he may disappear for 10 minutes or not follow his man or lose something. But he's also somebody, by the way, go look at the Gold Cup where people say he didn't play well. He created that move that led to Schaffelberg winning the penalty. Yep. So there's that moment there that he can do as well. So I think as Canadians, we have the right to ask of our leaders and the coaches to go, okay, how can you get the best out of this person? Because it's not good for Canada if he's sitting on the bench in the World Cup.
It's being the hybrid. That's what he has to do. He's such a talent. He can take over games. KJ already said that. But it's finding the discipline to finish games, to know when to do things in games. I think as a midfielder, that is key. It's not doing a step over when you're down 1-0. Maybe it's keeping the ball after you just lost it. These little margins, again, he's so young and he's so talented. But if he can get that and hone into that, man, he's going to be a top player for Canada, but also club.
I really like the player, and I hope moments like this makes him stronger, more resolute.
I love how he responded, though. Some players keep it internal, and
I think he will.
Coach yells at them, and they just look at their boots, and they show no fight. He's like, there's no one to play. I'm looking at the clip, too. I'm like, buddy, I kind of agree with you. There's no one to play.
He's tough.
No, but I like that. I like when players respond that way.
I mean, for one, adversity in my life, I love facing it head on and persevering. Sure. Younger generation, some people question about that, but if you can show the bottle to go through and do it, then all the better to him. So a big challenge ahead, and we wish him nothing but the best. Sassuolo, we're going to be watching. Canada, 2 friendlies, or as Keller calls them, tests.
Test matches.
Tests.
I don't like friendlies.
Shout out to Gaffer.
Never have.
What do you want to call it?
international matches.
Okay.
Oh, well done. That sounds
Romania.
You represent your country.
No, it sounds
it's-
elegant. I like that.
Yeah.
The mighty
Tests aren't
Welsh.
it either.
Welsh. Okay. I honestly can't wait for that game.
Who are you cheering for?
The Wheeler Derby.
Who are you cheering for?
The Wheeler Derby on September 9th,
Who are you
right here
cheering
on
for?
One Soccer.
Who are you cheering for?
Cheering for the game of football.